You are not weak because you care. You are drained because you keep trying to control what care cannot command. A message goes unanswered. A meeting feels cold. A friend changes tone. A post gets ignored. A relationship, a result, a reputation, all of it can start to feel like it is sitting on your chest. This video is about how to detach without becoming cold, not by shutting down, not by pretending nothing matters, by learning where your power ends and where your duty begins. Rule 1 is simple. Detach from the outcome, not the person. Epictetus gives the clearest frame for this. Some things are yours, your judgment, your choices, your effort, your restraint. Other things are not yours, how people respond, whether they approve, whether the day unfolds as you hoped. If you treat everything as yours, you live in constant collision with reality. The mind becomes a hand gripping smoke. The practical rule is this: before you react, ask, what part of this is mine? Then act on that part fully. Speak clearly, show up, do the work, then release the rest. Picture a citadel gate in a storm. You do not command the weather, you command the gate. That is not coldness, that is order. Rule 2. Stop feeding the part of you that needs approval to feel real. Approval feels harmless until it starts steering your decisions. You over-explain, you soften your boundaries, you say yes when you mean no. You keep checking messages, reactions, facial expressions, the mood in the room. Then your day is no longer guided by judgment. It is guided by appetite. Epictetus would call this a failure of impression management, not managing how others see you, managing the first thought that comes to mind when someone disapproves. The instant you think, they are upset, so I must fix this, you surrender your center. The Stoic move is to pause and test the impression. Is this actually dangerous, or does it merely feel uncomfortable? Is their opinion a verdict, or just a passing signal? The practice is small but serious. When you feel the urge to chase approval, wait 10 breaths before replying. Do not draft the perfect text. Do not defend yourself in the hallway. Let your nervous system stop performing. Then choose the smallest honest action. Keep this image in mind. A bronze shield polished so well it reflects everyone else's face. A strong person does not become a mirror. He becomes a wall that stands in place because it knows its purpose. Rule 3. Love people without obeying their chaos. This is where many people get confused. They think distance means lack of care, so they absorb the moods of everyone around them. A loved one is angry, and now the whole room is angry. A friend is unstable, and now you feel responsible for their turbulence. Someone you care about is disappointed, and suddenly your own judgment disappears. Hierocles offers a better image through his teaching on circles of concern. The people closest to us are not meant to erase our reasoning. They are meant to widen our duty. Care is real, but it is not possession. To love someone well is not to become their emotional hostage. It is to act for their good without abandoning your own virtue. So when someone is in chaos, do not instantly merge with it. Listen carefully. Help where help is truly needed. But do not inflate every emotion into an emergency. Not every storm requires you to jump into the water. Some require you to stand on the shore and throw a rope. Remember this phrase: warm hands, steady feet. Stay humane, stay present, but keep your footing. If you lose your footing, you cannot help anyone for long. Rule 4. Do not confuse distance with rejection. Some people drain you by accident. Some do it by habit. Some conversations leave you restless for hours because you keep replaying every sentence, trying to find the hidden meaning. In that state, closeness becomes a trap. You stay available, but you lose clarity. You keep answering, but your inner life gets crowded out. Hierocles helps again here, because the Stoic view of human connection is not simplistic softness. It includes duty, but also proportion. Different relationships call for different distances. You do not give the same access to everyone. You do not hand your peace to anyone who asks loudly enough. A practical rule: if a person repeatedly disturbs your judgment, shorten the exposure. Not with drama, not with cruelty, with restraint. Reply later. Meet less often. Stop volunteering your deepest thoughts to people who treat them carelessly. This is not punishment. It is governance. The image is a quiet courtyard inside a citadel. The gate is not slammed shut. It is simply monitored. Not everyone belongs in the inner room. That is not coldness. That is wisdom with a lock on the door. Rule 5. Let your effort be clean. Many people suffer because they keep a hidden contract with life. If I do everything right, the outcome must satisfy me. That contract is false. It turns effort into bargaining. It turns discipline into superstition. And once the result matters more than the act itself, you become easy to manipulate. Epictetus would insist that your duty is to act according to reason, not to guarantee a preferred ending. You prepare the meeting, you train the body, you write the message with honesty, you apologize clearly when needed, but once the effort is made, you stop clawing at the result. The result belongs to a wider world than your control. This matters in work, in fitness, in money, in relationships. If you obsess over whether everything pays off immediately, you start cheating your own character. You rush, you flatter, you perform, then your peace depends on applause. Make this a daily rule. Finish the work, then mentally step back one pace. Say to yourself, I have done my part. That one sentence can save hours of emotional noise. Imagine a blacksmith laying down the hammer at the right time. Strength is not endless striking. Strength is knowing when the task is done. Rule 6. Do not beg reality to be easier. A hard email arrives. A plan falls apart. Someone chooses differently than you hoped. A sudden silence in a relationship can feel like a verdict on your worth. In that moment, the mind starts bargaining. If only this changes. If only they return. If only the day softens. But reality does not obey pleading. It obeys cause and consequence. Seneca is useful here because he treats adversity as a training ground for steadiness. He does not tell us to enjoy pain or chase hardship. He tells us not to be surprised when life becomes difficult, because difficulty is part of the human condition. When you stop arguing with the fact that things can be hard, you save enormous energy. The practical response is simple. Name the fact, then name your duty. This is uncomfortable. Now, what is the next right step? That sentence keeps you from spiraling into drama. It also keeps you from becoming cold, because you remain active rather than shut down. Hold this image, a candle in a drafty room. It does not curse the wind. It protects the flame. That is what you are doing when you meet reality without complaint and without collapse. Rule 7. Keep friendship human, not possessive. One of the deepest forms of emotional imbalance is treating people like emotional property. You expect constant access, constant reassurance, constant proof. Then, when someone needs space, your mind turns it into betrayal. But a relationship becomes fragile the moment you demand that another person carry your insecurity for you. Seneca writes with unusual clarity about friendship. Real friendship is a place of trust, simplicity, and mutual goodwill, not surveillance. That means you can value someone without gripping them. You can care about them without turning their attention into your oxygen. You can miss them without making their absence into a catastrophe. Practically, this means giving people room to be separate. Do not demand instant replies as proof of loyalty. Do not interrogate every mood shift. Do not make your unease their job. If you feel the urge to control, return to your own center first. A memorable image. 2 lamps in one house, both lit, neither stealing flame from the other. Friendship should brighten life, not consume it. Rule 8. Use silence to protect judgment. When emotions rise, many people try to talk their way out of discomfort. They overshare, overdefend, overtext, overexplain. They want relief right now, so they put words in front of wisdom. But silence can be a form of strength. It gives your mind enough space to choose instead of react. Epictetus would approve of this pause, because it interrupts the automatic grip of the impression. Hierocles would also understand it, because care without judgment becomes confusion. And Seneca would recognize it as a way to keep the soul from scattering itself across the noise of the moment. Use silence when you are provoked. Use silence when you are tempted to beg. Use silence when someone wants to pull you into their urgency. That does not mean refusing honest speech. It means refusing impulsive speech. There is a difference. Try this practice tonight. Put the phone down for 10 minutes after any emotional exchange. No checking, no drafting, no replaying. Sit still, breathe, let the first heat pass. Then speak if speaking still serves virtue. The image is a heavy bronze gate, closed just enough to keep the wind out. Not a prison, a guardrail. Silence used well protects the inner room where judgment lives. Rule 9. Be warm, but stand under your own roof. This is the final balance. Detachment is not emotional frost. It is not becoming empty so nothing can touch you. It is the ability to care without collapse, to love without possession, to help without self-erasure, and to hold your own mind when the world tries to pull it loose. Epictetus reminds you that freedom begins when you stop handing over what belongs to you. Hierocles reminds you that care grows outward, not inward, so you can become wider and wiser instead of clingy. Seneca reminds you that steady affection is possible when you stop demanding that life guarantee your comfort. Together they point to the same standard. A good person stays kind, but not captive. So today, choose one place where you've been overattached, a person's opinion, a result, a reply, a memory, a fear. Step back one pace. Not forever, just enough to see clearly. Act well, speak plainly, then let the outcome breathe without your hands around its throat. Remember the final image, a citadel lit from within while the storm moves past outside. That is not coldness, that is command. Stay warm, stay steady, stay your own.